Yes, but here we have our group. It's me, Victor, Marcus, and Rony.
Yeah, there are four main cases that we could decide to work with. We have reduce, reuse, recycle, and rethink. Reduce is about decreasing the use of our resources. Overusage is a huge problem. We use 70% more resources than we should. Denmark is actually one of the countries who uses the most in Europe. We use roughly 28.6% more than the rest of the European average, which is already way too high to begin with. We have reuse and we have reuse, which is about the reutilization of a product. Either it's for the original purpose or for something new. By reusing, you decrease the amount of waste because nothing is thrown out. You decrease the amount of resources being used because less is produced and less energy is wasted. We have recycle, and recycle is about putting things to renewed use, like sorting in plastic and glass so that we can recycle the different materials and not use up all our valuable materials. When we recycle, we are looking out for our planet. If we recycle all the plastic that there is in the ocean, the world would recycle 12 million tons of plastic. And at last we have rethink. Rethink is, for example, to change things so that they can use up less materials or become even more effective. They can also be remade to be able to do more than they could before. Those two put together means you rethink something. And we have chosen to do a mixture of recycle and rethink that we will use to optimize a product which has already been created. We've decided to make bread bag ties that are easier to sort, so you don't just throw metal and plastic together, like just throw them out together. So to make it short, we've decided to make it easier to sort waste.
This is our questions. How can you optimize bread bag ties so that they become more sustainable? How do the American bread bag ties look? What happens to the bread bag ties after they are used? How much plastic does Denmark and USA release annually?
Yeah, so this is our problem. This little thing right here. It's this thing is a combination with made by plastic with then two little metal strings or something. This is really hard to garbage sort when you are done using it. But we have, as Victor also said, we are going to try to rethink this product so it becomes more sustainable and easier to recycle.
In Denmark, the Danish household produced 340,000 tons of plastic. That means that only 36% of plastic is recycled and 63% is not. In 2014, the number grew to 311 million tons, and in 2050, the production is expected to reach 1.2 billion tons of plastic. Plastic is primarily an oil-based product, and the growing production of plastic therefore a rising load of the global fossil fuels. Productions, use and disposal of plastic lead to the release of about 400 million tons of CO2 globally every year. In Denmark, we reuse 18% of plastic packaging.
So this is the American bread bag tie. very similar to the Danish one, but this is with one metal string and then plastic on both sides of it. So there's less metal, and you can recycle a higher percent of the product, but it's still not 100% sustainable.
How much does USA recycle and throw away? The US is processing more plastic than the rest of the developed world. Developed world. USA recycles about 35% of their plastic. The average American throws out 106 kilograms of plastic per year, which means that America have 262 million tons of plastic, what's it called now? Plastic garbage or trash. Methods. We have used the brainstorm where we came up with our idea and used a qualitative and quantitative method to make this diagram. This diagram is coming in later in the slide, and we will explain it there. We also have used an idea matrix for our minds to kind of, what is called, make our choices easier and see what ideas that fitted the best for our project. We also made a demand matrix to set our demands and what the thing we were going to make should be able to do, and some demands for it, so we were 100% sure that it would be sustainable and working. We also have made an environmental appraisal to make sure it has zero CO2 footprints, and we have kind of looked through what the CO2 print was of this product and the plastic development. What happens to the bread ties when the bag is empty or opened? As you can see, we have our diagram now. The people who says yeah throughout the little plastic piece. As you can see here, it's almost 75% of them. And the people who said no kept it for some other use. But as you can see here, most of these plastic pieces gets thrown out, and they don't get recycled because you cannot recycle mixed materials, and that's just straight up unusable materials. So it's just a waste, and it's not very sustainable.
So this is our technology analysis. We have our knowledge. We have to have some education in our project, where later on we're going to talk. I'm going to say what our solutions is. But we need some mechanic, a plastic worker, some tailor and carpenter, and we also need some creativity and design for to make up what and how this new bread bag tie should look like or should function. We need some business to if we was to sell it, the bread bag ties, and we need some product production so we can make it. In technology, we need some materials, we need some metal, aluminum, we need some fruits, wood, oil, and we also need some one finished part as fabric, because we also want to make it out of fabric. Mechanics, we need a juicer for the fruits. We need a distillation facility for the oil, and we need a metal saw for the metal. Energy, we need electricity and fuel, so the machines can work. We need computer programs. We need something to sell the product. If we want to sell it, we also need a couple others, but we don't know. We need some working capacity. We need working workers for the professions up here. And then we have this one over here. This is the facilities, our yes, office and
Main quarters.
factory is need to have. We need to have a reception, changing room for the workers. We need a lunch room to eat, a warehouse where our products can,
Storage.
yes, and can get out. We need some office and some conference facilities for the business. And this is the products that's already on the market. This one, as we saw before, is in Denmark. In Denmark we also have this one, which is a little different. It's flat. And yes, it's very similar to this one in materials, but it's the design is different. Then we have this one is a fusion of this one, and this is the American. We also have it in Denmark, but it's not used that much in Denmark. And then also this one, which is a bit bigger, but you buy this alongside the bread bags. So it's not on the bread bags, you have to buy them otherwise.
Separate.
Yeah, separate. Then our solutions. We want to make 3 new bread bag ties. We want to make them out of 3 different products. The first one should be made out of paper and metal. We want to make the paper out of cellulose and pulp from fruits. And the other one we want to make out of metal. And
the metal and now the fabric is like rest or trash from clothing factories and such.
So that's also a recycling.
So that's recycling, and we keep it sustainable in the system. So we keep on using the same materials over and over and over. So we can keep our earth, or what's it called, more recycled.
Yes. And the last one we want to make out of actually out of plastic and metal, as they already are, but we want to make a version that's like it's easier. It's easy to get the plastic and the metal separately after you have used the bread bag tie, so you can sort them separate, and then it's more sustainability and recycling.
Here we have our sources. We've used The Guardian, Regering, Fusion 360 for some of our models, Factoring.dk, Eksamensoplæg, Bæredygtighed, The Guardian again, and Danske Erhvervs Beklædning.